everyone. It's so good to see you. My name's Liana George. I am the author of Perfectly Arranged and Perfectly Placed. And today I have the privilege of interviewing four of my fellow Scrivening Success authors. They have written a collection, a novella collection called Love in Each Season that will be coming out very, very soon. I think the end of this month, September 27th to be exact. And so we are going to have a little chat with them. It is Heather Greer, Amy Anguish, Sarah Crouch, and Regina Merrick. So we're going to have a little fun together tonight. So getting to know them and getting to know the story so that when it comes out, you can grab it up and start reading right away. So thanks, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I did not get bios from each of you because I thought, well, that would take up a lot of our time and I'd rather us talk about you or your books and things like that. So I thought something fun to do would be to just have each of you describe the author that comes after you in the book in 3 words. I figured after working on this collection together, you probably know each other pretty well. So what would be 3 words? So whose name is on the book first?
Regina's.
Regina.
Okay, who comes after me?
That was the next question. Who comes? Amy.
So hold the book up again.
All right.
Okay.
Amy.
Okay.
So
3 words to describe Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Cute little blonde.
Oh, that's cheating.
Well, it does fulfill the requirements, so I'll have to let it go.
It does.
And whoever gets Regina gets to say very, 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 very creative. All right. Amy, you're next.
Okay, so I get to describe Sarah. And Sarah is sweet, loving, and beautiful.
Oh. Aw, that's so nice. Thank you. Heather's story comes after mine. And Heather is a baker. She is hilarious. And she is talented.
Oh, I like
Why,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Heather, I'm assuming you get Regina.
Yes, I do. And all day, Regina, I've been describing your book in 3 words instead of you.
Okay.
But I did come up with yours, Sweet Southern Sister.
Oh,
Ooh, yes.
that's very
I like
good.
that.
That's very good. That's very good. Well, thanks for playing along. That was fun. So let's get into the discussion about your books. It's kind of weird because it's a book with books in it. So let's each start with your book. So we'll just start with Heather and tell us the title of your book and a little bit about what the novella is about.
Mine is actually the last one in the collection. It's the winter one. It's Sugar and Spice.
Okay.
And it's set in a fictional German fairy tale town in Missouri, New Kuchenbrunn, Missouri, which I can't pronounce the German way, and I never will be able to. So, yeah. But it's all about the gingerbread festival and a baker who hates gingerbread, and the man who broke her heart coming back to town. So she's got to deal with gingerbread and Riker at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Why does she not like gingerbread?
That's a part of the story I don't want to give away. It's due to the unfortunate incident of Gingerbread Festival number 132. But you'll have to read the book to find out what that unfortunate incident is.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So winter, spring, who's spring?
That's me.
Okay.
My story is called Spring Has Sprung.
Okay.
And it follows the adventures of the assistant city manager of Spring, Kentucky, which that's fictional. And their big deal, it's a small town, their big deal is a daffodil festival every year. Because the name of the town is Spring. So anything to do with spring, they do in a really big way. But Maya is not fond of the season of spring. It's kind of like the gingerbread thing, but Maya hates spring, mainly because she has very bad allergies, and it's not a good time of year for her. She wishes she lived in a desert climate.
Okay.
But in the midst of having to plan this festival that she would rather hand off to someone else, but it's her turn, she meets Dr. Owen Roswell. And he's new in town, and he's very enthusiastic. Very. I mean, like, irritatingly enthusiastic. And he volunteers to be on her committee. And he ends up being her assistant.
Okay.
In the meantime, she decides she's got to do something about these allergies. So she goes to the doctor, and guess who she sees? She sees Dr. Roswell. And it just kind of goes from there. There's some weather issues, of course, in the spring in the South. You never know what's going to happen. And it's one of those things, if they have it and the weather turns on them, they'll be out all this money and everything. But you'll just have to read it to find out what happens.
Oh, okay.
But if you know my books, you'll kind of have an idea of what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then would be summer. When we get winter, spring,
Okay.
summer. Where are we going? Amy.
Amy, yes. So my story is actually called The Missing Piece,
Okay.
which is the name of the quilt shop in my book. And my character, Beth, and her mom and their friend Laura all ran The Missing Piece together, but Laura passed away earlier in the year, and now her son Tommy has come back into town right before the Watermelon Festival. And Tommy and Beth grew up together as best friends, and then it ended badly at the end of high school, and he hasn't really been back in town much since. And so this is a very big twist, and she's super stressed because she's trying to make sure everything's perfect for the Watermelon Festival, since it's the first time it's her responsibility to do the booth for their store.
Oh.
And they're sort of having to earn some extra money this year because some of the bills got missed because that was Laura's job and she's not around to help anymore. So lots of craziness going on and lots of talking about watermelons.
Now, are you a quilter? Is that why you decided to make her one?
I am big on quilts. I have made several quilts. I come from a history of women who make quilts, and I just think there's something special about them. It's a big family history thing of mine. My grandmother made all of us quilts when we graduated high school. There's 13 grandchildren, and she made every single one of us a queen-sized quilt, and she taught me how to quilt. So yeah, it's big in my history.
Okay, because I know Heather likes to bake, so yeah, I thought
Yeah.
maybe quilt. So do you have really bad spring
Yep.
allergies then, Regina?
No, not really. But curly hair
I was
does
just looking
come
for
into
the
play.
I was just looking for the common thread here, and so I thought either that or
I do
maybe.
like daffodils, though. I
do
was
like
born in
daffodils?
March, so daffodils are my favorite flower.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe your husband's an allergist or something. So okay.
Nah.
All
Do a
right.
lot of research for that, actually.
All right. Well, Sarah, that leaves you with fall. So why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, so my story is called A Sweet Dream Come True, and it is about an ice cream man, Isaac, who is kind of wrapping up his first season as an ice cream shop owner, and winter is coming. So it opens during a fall festival in Bestwood, Tennessee, which I loosely based off of Smyrna, Tennessee. And we've got the Best Fest Fall Festival. And Isaac kicks out a young mom and her son from some of his seats at his shop because they have not actually purchased any ice cream, and he needs the seats for customers. And right after he kicks them out, he finds out that this woman is actually someone that he's been trying to meet because she makes chocolates. And Isaac has this idea that he can drum up some more business during the winter months by partnering with a candy maker or a chocolatier. And so he has to chase after her, and he meets Mel, and Mel eventually forgives him and comes into the ice cream store. But she really does not want to work with him because she's a single mom. She has a lot on her plate, and she is not sure if she's ready to take this leap of faith into becoming a small business owner.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's really cool. Well, it sounds like you've got all the bases covered. Are you an ice cream maker?
Well, I do own an ice cream maker, and I had a lot of fun experimenting and researching for the story. And the kind of the reason why I picked this season and the ice cream shop was, as soon as Amy told me this idea, I thought, well, I can base this kind of off of, or I can research at my favorite ice cream shop in the world, Gennardi's. And so I got to interview the owners, Janelle and Marty, ask them all my questions about making ice cream, and then visit the shop a lot to sample their ice cream. So I had a lot of fun with this one.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. So now all of them have a festival. Where did y'all come up with the idea for that? Why festivals? Where does the connection come in? Anybody?
I think it was more because of we were looking at small towns and that small town vibe of just together with friends and family celebrating life. And the small towns do it best. And so we went with the festivals in the small towns and decided, why not throw in the seasons as well and just, split them up that way. So
yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Now, do you each have that particular festival where you live? Like the watermelon festival? No actual festival.
No.
They're just more creative minds. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. We actually have a pumpkin festival, so
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
we have Vulture Fest.
Vulture.
Wow.
Well, that's probably a really good one for like sci-fi or horror or something, if they need one.
Is it during Halloween?
Yeah, right.
It's in October.
Yeah.
So okay. And so I'm sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that there is a fall festival that I kind of loosely based Best Fest off of in Smyrna, Depot Days. But honestly, I know at least in Middle Tennessee, there, like, every small town has a fall festival. So and where I grew up, also in Northwest Arkansas, they have a giant Labor Day fair every year. So I guess I pulled ideas from a few different places, but it's probably most closely based off of Depot Days.
Okay. Well, I think as authors, that's what we do. We kind of take from a little bit from each thing and bring it together so that nobody can ever say, oh, that was this festival, or, oh, that was my city, or, oh, that's, you base this after me. And they're like, you just know, I use and like Frankenstein, put it all together. So yeah. Okay. Well, cool. All right. So as an author who's only written books by herself, the idea of writing with 3 other people is a little daunting because, you're not that your story, it's not like you're writing a chapter and the next person's writing a chapter and the next, so you don't have to streamline it, but you still have to, work together to make sure that your festivals and your seasons and, all those kind of things have the same elements. So how is it writing with other people? What did you learn from the experience?
to me it's really fun because it's like you have this built-in support group and this built-in group of people that you can bounce ideas off of.
Mhm.
And so we just had this constant message going where, one or the other of us would post, oh, I think my character is going to do this. And then the other one would go, that's what my character is doing. Is that too close to what is doing?
Yeah.
We would like bounce ideas off each other.
Mhm.
We could ask questions of each other. We could brainstorm together. We could encourage each other when we were on deadline and some of us were running behind. I was not calling out names.
Mm.
I was not gonna say who was running behind, but it's sort of like you become like a family almost during the process. And it got a little confusing at some points though, because I was in this novella collection that comes out this month. I'm also in a novella collection that comes out in February next year. And so sometimes I would actually message the wrong group.
Yeah.
That's funny. Funny. So anybody else would talk about their experience of being in novella? Was it anybody's first time to be in a novella? A group of authors who are writing the novella? Is your first time? Oh, yours too, Sarah? Okay. So what did you learn, or how is it different than maybe what you thought it would be?
I mean, it was definitely handy to have Amy, reminding us of deadlines and making sure that everybody is, keeping it at the front of their mind. And then just all the funny GIFs, I think also were motivational. So
Yeah.
I mean, like Amy said, it's nice to be able to just say like, hey, what do you guys think about such and such? And there's always somebody who's available. And then there's always one person who like 2 hours later is like, you guys just sent 50 messages. What happened?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Heather? It was your first time too to be part of a novella collection?
Yes, but one of the things that I liked, and I liked everything that both Amy and Sarah said as well, but you had a built-in critique group. Like, we didn't send in our stories. We didn't finish our stories and just send them in. One of us read each other's stories as much as we could. Some of us were under deadlines with other books, so maybe we didn't get to read all of them. But before we sent in the proposal and the synopses, however you would say it in plural, we sent them to each other.
Yeah.
We made our comments. We sent in our 2 chapters before our proposal so that we could get comments on that as well. Before we sent in our final manuscripts, we had 3 other people who were going through and reading them and editing them as well, and giving us feedback before we ever got them to the first round of editing with the publisher.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah. And I'll let Regina ask, and then I have another question. Or not Regina ask, Regina talk, and then I'll ask another question about working as a group. So obviously this was not your first experience then as being part of a novella collection.
No.
Okay.
I've done a few. The first collection I ever did was with Mal Rock, which was the predecessor of Scrivenings Press. And it was all beachy stories. And that was so much fun. We all picked a different beach on the Eastern Seaboard. And it was a similar thing, but ours were really a little more autonomous. Like my beach story was connected to my series I was writing at the time. And this is just definitely, all these stories are standalones. So I guess we could go back and revisit these characters at some point, but what the others have said about having a built-in critique group has been so great. Having Amy keeping our noses to the grindstone has been amazing, because it's just, it's been a strange season, and some of us have other books we're writing too, right, ladies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you talk about a novella collection. Well, one of these days we'll have to talk about our novel collection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's coming.
so how did the four of you, I mean, we're all Scrivenings Press authors, so that's a given, but how did the four of you decide I want to work, how did y'all come together and know that you were the team to work with?
I don't remember.
I think Heather and I started it.
Probably.
Yeah. And then I think I brought Sarah in because Sarah and I lived in the same town, and she was just publishing her first novel, and I knew she was wanting to do some more stuff, and I thought this would be right up her alley. And then we just sort of started thinking about like who else would be a really good fit for this, and Regina was at the top of the list, and so we asked her, and she said yes. She probably never will again.
They needed the old lady.
Well, I wasn't sure if you had to take applications, if you had to do interviews, if it was anything like that, or you just kind of pick and choose. So it's good to know. It's good to know. So let me just ask in all honesty here, would you do it again with these same people?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Awesome. All right.
In one way or another, we all are.
Yeah.
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 Like, me and Amy and Regina are on a project together.
Yes.
Me and Amy and Sarah are on a project together.
Like two more
Right.
projects together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the aforementioned project, Heather and I have both stepped out of our comfort zones completely to write historical.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So I've,
because y'all all write contemporary romance, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just contemporary romance. I mean, obviously historical, but that's primarily where you stay, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I gotcha. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my lane.
That's your lane. Yeah, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Okay, so Regina made a comment that kind of ties into my next question. Her novella that she did about the beaches, the first one she did, linked to her one of her novels. Do any of these link to any other novels, or are they just completely separate and independent? No.
The only way it could link to any of my other novels is because it's set in the same town, but I don't have any of the same characters. I just keep using that town. So eventually I'm going to have a map, and it's just going to have like, you can find this store here, and you can find the church building here, and you can find this here, because I've included it in like 4 different stories now. So I guess my characters are going to have to start running into each other.
Yeah, they can make cameo appearances.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, so are you going to take, now that you've written this novella and you have these characters, are you thinking about taking any of them and giving them their own novel?
Not right now.
No.
It's not in my head right now.
No.
No. How about you, Sarah? No.
No.
And because I've thought about it, but I feel like they're done for now, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, just always good to know, good to ask, always looking to see if there's another way we can get more writing out of you wonderful women. So okay, well, we've talked a lot about your story. I can't wait to read it. Or your stories. I can't wait to read them when it comes out. But let's talk a little bit about your writing itself. So just curious, what inspires you to write? Each of you, what inspires you to write? We'll start with Sarah.
Okay. I was just thinking, hope somebody else goes first. I don't know. I guess I've just always wanted to, and I've always enjoyed it since I was young. I thought that I would be writing children's books, I've written a picture book and a few things here and there, but the first like full-fledged story idea that came to me was a Christian romance novel. So that's what I ended up writing. And I get, you get inspiration from everywhere once you get started. But I don't know when I first wanted to write, but I just kind of always had that bug.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. The other day we were taking a cable car up a mountain, and we stopped. I don't know why we stopped, but we were just sitting there and we're just dangling. And I lean over and my brain just starts working. And I'm like, you could write a story about seeing your body just going over the sky. And, and my friend looked at me, she's like, that's just sick. And I'm like, yeah, but what a great story it would be, And she's like, no, it's not. And then a little bit later, we're walking and we came to a dead end. And I was like, you could do like a Hunger Games inside this, rainforest thing. And, stop already. Can we just enjoy our time here? Fine.
I think writers have this unique ability to be able to think things through the way they could happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And it's fun.
It is. It is, right? And it just stop. You just get it, like she said, you can get inspiration from anything. So Regina, where do you find your inspiration, or what inspires you to write?
I have always loved story. I mean, I was one of those kids in first grade that was probably the first one to figure out reading. And I wanted to read books. I wanted to read actual books. When I was 12, I started reading romance. Grace Livingston Hill, Emily Loring, all those wonderful writers. And, it was like I thought about it off and on, but it wasn't until I started writing Sue Thomas FBI fan fiction that I thought, I kind of enjoy this, because that is a way to practice writing, because you've got these ready-made characters, but you have to put them in different situations and you have to make them do their thing. But you've got enough people reading your story that know these characters so well that you have to be careful to meet their expectations. So you learn early to meet the reader's expectations.
Yeah.
So, once I did that, and then I had this dream about a big mansion on the beach, and I thought, okay, I've got to write that. And I wrote that, and that was what started it all.
I thought maybe you were thinking that you would write books so you could buy the mansion on the beach because you made so much money off your book sales. Okay.
Yes, that's really what I'm going for. Yeah.
And how's that going for you?
Oh, not too well.
A little slower than what we thought, right? That's okay. We'll get there one day.
I have a fertile imagination, though. I can pretend I live there.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Amy, what about you? What inspires you to write?
I'm like the others. I get ideas everywhere. I get ideas talking to people who tell me about, things that they've experienced. I get ideas from news stories.
Yes.
Past experiences in my own life, or reading something somebody else wrote and thinking, if she had done this instead, then it would have gone this way. And so you just sort of take the original idea and then you twist it around and make it your own. Yeah, there's ideas everywhere. And so the inspiration for me to write, though, is that they get stuck in my head, and until I write them down, they don't leave me alone until I have to write them down.
Yeah, it gets crowded up there, and somebody's gonna.
It does.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right, Heather, what about you? What inspires you to write?
Like the others, I started wanting to write when I was a kid. But then as I started reading stories in my teens and adulthood that impacted me in a big way, to be able to create the worlds like these authors did for me, to be able to create characters that make people feel like they've just spent hours with a friend.
Yeah.
To draw them into a story that entertains them and that also makes them better when they leave it. I mean, because I can think so many times my own faith has been challenged, my own faith has been grown, my own faith has been confirmed by the things that I've read.
Yeah.
And so knowing God put that passion in me, that's where that dream came from. And as far as the actual inspiration goes, it varies from story to story. Sometimes it's the idea of something, sometimes it's the story itself, sometimes it's the character, sometimes it's a word that just sparks a story. And then, like Amy said, it takes over from there and you've got to get it down on paper.
Right. Right.
Mostly Heather's inspiration comes from her kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you, that would not happen in my house. So yeah, no. No bacon going on at this house. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, I know we've talked about what inspires you. We know that there are things going on in those beautiful minds of yours. So what are some other projects you have going on that you're working on? And I'm sure there are quite a few. So I'll let Amy start because she's probably got the longest list.
Okay, so after this, the next book to come out is going to be the second book in my road trip romance series. And so I've got at least one more round of edits for that. And then it will come out in December. Then I'm in another novella collection in February of 23. And those are all about delivery services. And then my last road trip romance will come out in June of 2023. The book that I have written that goes along with Heather and our series, where theirs are the historicals. I actually somehow ended up getting to write the contemporary one, and it will come out in August of 2023. And then I have a Christmas story called My Mama Kissed Santa. Or no, My Mama Dated Santa, and it comes out in October of 2023. And then I'm working on a couple of things that I'm hoping to pitch and maybe land some more contracts for 2024.
See why? I mean, how many is that in a year? I'm just tired listening to you.
Yeah, me too.
It seems like a lot more. Well, you had back in.
Yeah.
Wow. So you are quite busy. Does anybody else got to hold the candle to that, or Heather? You're next. No.
I'll be next, but no, I don't hold a candle to that. And before I go into what's coming out, I do have to say, I think the reason Amy ended up with the contemporary in this series that we're doing is because she pretty much refused to take the historical.
Don't write historical.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm not a historical writer either, but guess what? No,
but she did a stinking good job on it, though.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
So that is my next book coming out, is a historical romance in the series that Regina, Amy, Aaron Howard, and I are in, that spans hundreds of years, I guess, basically.
Did we decide over 200 years? I think
around 200, actually.
Yeah, about 200 years with this one family, and I got the 1920s, and so that's where our family's story starts, and that one is Window of Opportunity, and I am waiting for my edits to come back from the publisher so I can get started on those. I just got my cover design for that one. In February 2023, I'm in the Novella collection that Amy mentioned about the delivery people. So I'll have that one coming out. After that, I'm not contracted for anything yet. I do have a proposal in for another Novella collection. And I am working on a couple of nonfictions that I've not proposed yet. I'm going to finish them up and then write a proposal for them.
Oh, you're going to give us a hint about what they're about?
One of them is about writing the way God designed you to write. And I call it You Write You.
Oh,
like
kind
that.
of play off of You Do You.
yeah.
And the other one, I'm not sure if it's going to end up being a full-blown book or if it's something that I'm going to use just with friends and things like that. It's about party planning as an author.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
a good one.
taking into consideration everything you need to when deciding what kind of party to have with your books, or if you want to have just a signing, how to stay on a budget with it, and just kind of all the details that can go into that.
Oh, that's cool. But no full-length novel in the mix right now. No?
Nope, not right now. I've got several like ideas on the back burner, but my brain is taking a break after that historical fiction.
I'm not sure. You sound a little more traumatized than anything, but I can see why you would be.
It was a lot. I'm not a history person. I love reading historical fiction, but myself, I'm not a student of history.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a lot of research, and I love the story. I love the way it ended, the way it turned out, but it was way more research than any other story I have ever written.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I know, I read historical too. I don't write historical because part of me is afraid of historical people know their stuff. They know their time period. And if you don't get something right, they will ding you on it. So that's, you have to really know your history and make sure you've got the right people and the right events, the right type of culture. I sell things. So yeah. So that's
Thanks for instilling that fear in me now that I didn't have before. That's awesome.
You're so welcome. That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. Sarah, how about you? What are you working on?
So after this, let's see, I'm in a novella collection about delivery people. Delivery people. Yeah, so I've got a story about a florist.
Okay.
That is coming out in February. And then a proposal that is outstanding. So we'll see about how that one comes along. And then I am working on finishing up a series that I started. So I have 3 more planned, 1 written. So my youngest just started preschool. So that's my plan for while he's in school, is that I'm going to finish those up.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I always admire authors who write with young kids at home because God knew I could not handle that. So he did not let me start this journey until they were out of college, not just out of high school, out of college, because he knew that I couldn't handle that. I truly,
I feel a little crazy, but
all these little kids, I highly admire you. So Regina, last but not least. So what are you working on?
Well, right now I'm kind of in the throes of writing a book that's set in 1970.
Okay.
And I've joked that the only reason I'm doing that one is because I was the one that can remember 1970, which actually barely, but that it has been interesting writing this series because, okay, here's the thing. Miss Amy is the one who got the contemporary one. So it's the 3rd book in the series and she finished it first. Yeah. So then Heather and then me. So yeah. But it's interesting. We were talking about the research in historical. I was writing along, just, la da da da. And I realized, wait a minute, did they use that expression in 1970? Or did they have that product in 1970?
Right.
Would they have said that in 1970? So, I was 6 years old in 1970. I don't remember all these things.
Yeah.
So it's really been interesting. I'm having fun researching it and finding examples of clothing and hairstyles and everything. So, that's kind of fun. Beyond that, I've kind of had to take a break. We've had a lot of parental things going on in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I was originally going to have a 3-book series come out this year and next year and the next, and it just didn't work out.
Right.
So hopefully after I get this one done, I can actually start working on another series. And I've got a few things percolating in my head, whether I want to continue an existing series or just start over with a new family in a new area. So,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, going with the flow. I was going to say,
Yeah.
for the 1970s, what did they wear and that kind of stuff. I mean, you can just look out now. I mean, it's so funny to see how many 1970s styles are back. I mean, of course, they're never quite the same, but they really do come back around. So if you're not sure, just go look at a magazine, Vogue, Glamour, and you'll see something there that'll help you out.
Yeah, wide leg jeans are back.
Exactly.
They keep bringing out this. They're bringing out the stuff from the 1990s too, and I keep looking at them, going, "Oh,
Please don't.
why did I wear that in high school, and why would anybody want to wear it now?"
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So true. So true. Well, it has been so wonderful visiting with all of you. I know that you all are doing great work, and I'm very excited for each of you. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to talk with me. But before I go, 2 more things. I know you guys are doing a scavenger hunt. So what's up with that, and what are the details? Heather, you're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah. And it's basically because we all live in different places. So we can't get together and have a normal launch party. We can't get together and celebrate together. So we figured the best thing we could do is take it online. And we are on a series of blogs, videos, podcasts that we've set up. And we're doing a scavenger hunt, a social media scavenger hunt.
Okay.
And so until the 4th of October,
Okay.
so it started on the 23rd of September and runs until 11:59 p.m. Central Time on the 4th of October.
Okay.
You can go to all of these different places that we've been on social media and find clues.
Okay.
Today's clue is clue number 13.
Wow.
And the word is autumn. So clue number 13 is autumn.
Great.
And all you have to do, you can go to any of our websites and you can find the list of all the other links to the other places we've been and find all the clues. When you have all 15 clues, you can go to the link that's also in that same blog post on each of our pages and send us your phrase that your 15 clues make up. And then we will draw one winner to win a $60 Amazon gift card.
Oh, perfect. Just in time for the holidays coming up.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Sounds like a lot of fun. It looks like you guys have put a lot of work and effort into that. So that should be a lot of fun. So I hope people will join in on your online social media party. That's great. Very creative. Well, before I let you go, I want to make sure people know how to find you. So what are your websites? What kind of social media do you want to share? Goodreads, BookBub, anything like that? You have the table to tell people how to find you. So Sarah, let's start with you.
So I am at sarahannCrouch.wordpress.com, and all of my social media handles are just at Sarah Ann Crouch. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, sometimes Twitter, Pinterest. So that's just Sarah with an H and with an E, and then Crouch.
That's awesome. Okay, great. Regina, how about you?
I am at www.reginaruddmerrick.com. And you can also find me on Facebook, on Instagram, a little bit, mostly Facebook and my website. Where else am I? Well, I'm on BookBub and
Yeah.
Goodreads, those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm not hard to find.
That's awesome. All right, Heather, how about you?
Mine is just heathergreer.com for
Okay.
my website. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, though I don't really like it, Pinterest, and Goodreads, BookBub. Amy, Aaron, and I have a YouTube channel as well. I have one personally as well that I haven't done a lot with yet, but I hope to start doing more with. But yeah, I'm in all of those places, probably most on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, awesome. And then Amy, let's wrap it up with you and you can tell us all where you are.
Okay. My website is abitofanguish.weebly.com.
Okay.
And I do have links to all my social media on there, but I am on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, BookBub, Goodreads, Pinterest. So yeah, everything but Instagram. I don't do Instagram. I don't have time for anything else. So
It doesn't sound like it, not when you have like 5 books
No.
next year. Probably should have time to sleep. So, well, ladies, it's
I'm
been
supposed to be sleeping.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, well, ladies, thanks. It's been so much fun. I hope we can do this again sometime soon. It sounds like
Yes.
Amy's got plenty of opportunities. And the delivery, we have to get back together and do delivery in February. That would be fun. But I wish you all the best in your writing careers. And thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back another time with some more author interviews. So take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.